Recently, my pressure cooker quit working, so I got a new Ninja Foodi. Guess what I made? Beef Barbacoa. Here's the recipe. 5 teaspoons of powdered New Mexico Chile and 1.5 of Chile Ancho. 2 teaspoons of oregano. 1 teaspoon of whole black pepper. 1 teaspoon of beef bouillon. 6 Chile chipotles. 5 bay leaves. 5 garlic cloves and 6 whole cloves. 2 cups of beef broth. 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. And the juice of 3 limes. So you want to put all that in the blender and blend it together. Next up, you got to prep your meat. Make sure you pat it dry so that all your seasonings can stick on that meat, making it even more flavorful, trust me. So just make sure you take out all that water on all the pieces. For this recipe, I used 4 pounds of bottom round roast and about 1 pound of chuck roast. To season it, I used 3 teaspoons of salt and 1 tablespoon of the Montreal seasoning. That piece of meat was pretty heavy. So I adapted my recipe from Cooking from Claudia recipe that I found on YouTube. I think I'm gonna try making this again, but instead of the powdered chilies, I'm gonna use whole dry chilies, because I prefer that. And I will link the machine that I used if you're interested, and some of the ingredients in my Amazon account, so that you guys can take a look and check it out. So this new Ninja Foodi that I have, it has like a little tuner to dial up whatever you're using. I'm gonna set it to the sear and saute, and for that you have to make sure that your lid is open, because otherwise it won't continue to heat. So I used 2 tablespoons of oil, and I always like to throw in a little piece of meat to make sure that the oil is hot. And so once that's ready, you throw in your meat, and you want to make sure that all your pieces of meat are browned on each side for at least 4 to 6 minutes. So make sure you're turning your meat. Don't let it burn. You don't want to burn the first part of it, but make sure you're turning it on all sides. Here I struggled because this was a big old piece of meat. It was huge, so I kind of struggled, but eventually I got it to flip on all its sides. Then you add your sauce that you made earlier. To this sauce, I added 2 more cups of water, just to make sure that the meat is submerged in water, because you want to make sure that it cooks all the way through and it has enough fluid. So after you do that, you're gonna change your setting to pressure cook. So my old Ninja Foodi had 2 lids. This one only has the one, which I love. It's awesome. So I'm going to set it to natural release, and I'm gonna cook it for 70 minutes. So my old machine had buttons, so I'm just like pushing here. I could have just held down, but I'm pushing, but it's fine, whatever. 70 minutes. I just need to get used to it. So meanwhile, guess what? There's dishes to wash. So gotta wash the dishes, even the Vitamix. Look at that, so much fun. Look at that. I hate washing dishes. Halfway through, I realized that I didn't put in my onion, so I had to do a quick pressure release. You have to be careful, and it is scary because when you do a quick pressure release, the steam explodes. So I threw in my whole onion. I had cut it into 4s, and I didn't want to miss any flavors, so I'm like, I gotta do this. I gotta put in this onion. Just be careful when you do this because it's really hot. So after I cooked it all the way through, let's open it. Let's check it out. Look at that. All the steamy goodness there. So I let it release naturally for 25 minutes. I used 2 forks to shred it. I have really picky eaters at home, so I made sure I took out all the fat, because otherwise they're gonna gag. And here are the tacos I made for dinner that night. And then the next night I made queso tacos. Look at that. So yum.